My dear friend, some people do not just overthink, they observe themselves until they are exhausted. A late reply is enough to make them ask, why am I so anxious? Why am I always afraid of being abandoned? Why am I so overly sensitive? And the more they ask why, the deeper they fall. The mind starts digging into the past, comparing, blaming, creating explanations that sound reasonable, and in the end, they do not feel clearer. They only feel more tired. Everyone thinks self-awareness means digging deeper and deeper inside yourself. But sometimes the question, why am I like this, does not help you understand yourself better. It only keeps you trapped longer inside your own mind. For highly aware people, this is even more dangerous because they already notice too many signals, feel too many shifts, and analyze too many things that may not even be true. Maybe the way out is not to think deeper. Maybe it is to ask better questions. Not, why am I like this? But what is actually happening? What matters most right now? And what can I do next?
Because sometimes changing the question is enough to change the direction of your entire mind. When you ask, why am I like this? Your mind can easily pull you back into the past. It starts digging, comparing, blaming, creating stories that sound convincing. Because I'm weak, because I'm too sensitive, because I always make everything complicated. But not every explanation your mind gives you is the truth. Sometimes your mind is only trying to find a quick answer so you can feel in control. And for a highly aware person, that can be like pouring fuel on a fire. You already notice too many signals. You already hear the shift in someone's voice. You already feel when a room becomes heavy, even when nobody says anything clearly. So if you keep asking a why, you may get trapped in a loop with no exit. Why are they being cold to me? Why am I so scared? Why can't I be normal? Why do I have to analyze everything? The more you ask, the deeper you spiral. And the deeper you spiral, the easier it becomes to confuse self-judgment with self-awareness. A truly self-aware person is not always the person who analyzes themselves the most. They are the person who knows how to ask the right question at the right moment. Not the question that pulls them down, but the question that brings them back to the present. Instead of asking, why does my boss hate me? They ask, what is actually happening? What evidence do I really have? What can I do to communicate more clearly or improve my work? Instead of asking, why am I always abandoned? They ask, what situation is triggering this feeling of abandonment in me? What kind of reassurance do I need right now? Can I express my need without accusing myself or the other person? That is a very different kind of awareness. Why often pulls you into interpretation? What brings you back to facts? Why makes you search for what is wrong with you? What helps you see your next choice? Why keeps you staring into the rearview mirror? What reminds you that your hands are still on the wheel? If you have ever been stuck asking, why am I like this, until your mind became exhausted, comment number 1, not to label yourself, but to remember, you are not the only one learning how to step out of that loop.
For highly aware people, one of the biggest mistakes is believing that every feeling is evidence. You see someone go quiet and you think they are angry. You receive a short message and you think you did something wrong. Your heart beats faster and you think something bad is about to happen. You walk into a meeting room, feel the energy getting heavy, and immediately wonder if it has something to do with you. But a feeling is a signal. It is not always a conclusion. A feeling tells you, something is happening inside me. It does not always tell you the outside world is exactly like this. Someone replying late may simply be busy. A dry tone may come from tiredness. A silence may mean someone is processing their own problem. A wave of anxiety in your body may come from coffee, lack of sleep, hunger, or built-up stress. If you ask, why are they treating me like this? Your mind may start writing a whole movie. But if you ask, what is actually happening? You begin returning to the facts. The fact is, they replied after 3 hours. The interpretation is, they no longer care about me. The fact is, my heart is beating fast. The interpretation is, something bad is about to happen. The fact is, the room is quieter than usual. The interpretation is, I must have done something wrong. Self-awareness is not believing every interpretation your mind creates. Self-awareness is learning to pause before turning an interpretation into the truth. And this is how you practice it in daily life. When a signal makes you uneasy, do not rush to ask, Why am I reacting like this? Ask instead, what is happening in my body? What is happening in this situation? What do I know for sure, and what am I guessing? That alone creates a small space between you and the spiral. Then name the emotion. I feel anxious. I feel left out. I feel tense. I feel afraid of being judged. When an emotion has a name, it becomes less like a dark cloud swallowing you. Then ask, what matters most to me right now? Not what is the scariest thing, not what is the worst possible scenario, but what matters most. Maybe what matters is staying calm. Maybe it is expressing your need clearly. Maybe it is resting before replying. Maybe it is not carrying someone else's emotions as your responsibility. If you often turn other people's feelings into your responsibility, comment number 2. Number 2 is a reminder that you can care without becoming the rescuer. Boundaries begin with one simple sentence. I can see this, but I do not have to carry all of it. You can notice that someone is sad, but you do not have to turn their sadness into your mission. You can sense that the atmosphere is tense, but you do not have to fix it immediately. You can notice a body signal, but you do not have to turn it into danger. Try this sentence. I can care about their feelings, but I do not have to carry their feelings for them. And when your mind starts running too fast, return to your body. Inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Repeat 5 times. Then look around and name 5 things you can see. This reminds your nervous system that you are in the present, not inside a frightening future created by your mind. And if you need to analyze, set a limit. 10 minutes. Write down what you are worried about. Write down the real facts. Write down less painful possible explanations. Then ask, what can I do next? Not why am I so broken, but what small step can help me become clearer right now? And sometimes one small step like that is enough to bring you back to yourself. Not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who no longer needs to hurt themselves with the wrong questions. You do not need to keep digging into the past just to prove why you are the way you are. You do not need to turn every emotion into a courtroom. You do not need to use your sensitivity as another reason to condemn yourself. True self-awareness is not watching yourself until you are exhausted. It is seeing clearly enough to know what is happening, what matters, and what step to take next. If this video made you feel a little lighter, subscribe to this channel. Quietly. Like placing a small chair here, so the next time your mind runs too fast, we can sit down together. I'm Lumi, and I'm here to share, listen, and connect with the people who've been exhausted from having to stay strong alone for far too long.